and it's saying that I am officially live. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Sam Golovey. I'm so excited to have you guys on today. Today is going to be a little bit different. Today, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to buy a home, and I'm going to show you the top three buyers' mistakes I'm seeing in this competitive market. And also, if you stay with me till the end, I am going to show you exactly how you can expect and how much you can expect to pay over the list price if you're currently in the market. I know there's been a lot of buzz about overlisted houses, but now are they still overpriced? Are they still overpriced? So I'm going to actually review some real life stats with you over the last few months and show you what people are paying over the list price, under the list price, or maybe even at the list price. So stay tuned till the end and we're going to go through that with you guys. All right. So the topic of today is, what are the top three mistakes that I'm seeing home buyers make in this market? And again, thank you guys for joining me on this live. I hope you guys are enjoying the new look. This is the studio here, not too far from my office. So hope you guys enjoy. Give me a thumbs up if so. And also, as we kind of move forward on this, make sure to drop a comment or a question, really. Drop a question if there's anything that I can answer for you right away, or something that we can make a video on, or kind of answer your questions to the best of my ability. I'll do that for you. So make sure that you're dropping a comment below, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so kind of jumping into it, obviously there's a lot of buyers in the market. There's been a lot of changes in this market, especially in the last year or two. Things have kind of went rampant, in my opinion, and things have definitely been going through the roof. And so you might have heard in the last few months on different, real estate professionals in the market might say, hey, things are slowing down or things are changing. And yes and no at the same time. Things are still moving fairly quickly. And so I work with a lot of home buyers. Work with a lot of sellers. But specifically right now, there's a big focus on home buyers and getting them into a home. Obviously, if you've been shopping in the last year or two, you may have felt a little bit of that frustration as far as trying to get into a new home here in the greater Sacramento area. And I got to say, there's a lot more opportunities now, especially if you've been considering maybe purchasing brand new. Brand new is starting to bring out a lot of opportunities right now. So look out for that. Check out the brand new homes. If you guys are on the channel, subscribe to that channel or look in the playlist below. We'll show you guys some of the things that are available. There's definitely some quick move-in ready options. So just keep an eye on those. They're going to be out there, but you just have to continuously keep looking for them to get yourself a good deal. So let's jump into it. First one is this: the top three buyer mistakes. So the first one is this: pre-approval. Now, you might have heard many people say this, and I know you're probably already thinking, geez, Sam, are we really going to go over this again? But honestly, yes, pre-approval is probably the biggest one. You would be surprised how many buyers I have. I mean, highly qualified, sometimes even super sophisticated people and high net worths, but yet they still lack of a pre-approval, and it's like pulling teeth to get them into a pre-approval, or at least speaking to a lender to see where they qualify at. And I'm seeing this specifically with high income earners, because there's this kind of thought process: well, I make a lot of money, so I'm gonna get approved no matter what. I mean, what is it? But there's actually a lot of things that go into a pre-approval, not just your overall income. Especially if you're self-employed, this is super important. And I don't really care how much money you make. I've went through the same process multiple times. Really, it's not about how much money you make. There's still debt to income ratios, obviously credit score, income verification, and if you've taken any major vacations or taken time off work or maternity, all these things factor into play of what's usable and what's not usable income. Had a lot of couples approach me recently as well. They might have some sort of side gigs or gigs that might pay them in cash, and they might be making good money as far as cash in hand or hitting the bank. But sometimes that income is not even usable to get them their pre-approvals. So when their pre-approval amount, so the loan amount that comes back, sometimes honestly they get discouraged or disappointed of what they thought they could qualify for. Okay, so just be careful with that. Also, if you're self-employed, it's not always the best idea to write everything off. I understand. I'm in the same position. You want to lower your tax base, but be careful with that and just talk to a professional, talk to a loan officer, get your CPA involved and see, what's going to be the best fit for you. What are the things that you should write off or not, and maybe hold off and, show that you have higher income for this year. If you're planning on buying a home next year or the year after, super important. Okay. So it's not just about the income that you have that you're making now on a month to month basis. So just keep that in mind. A lot of people seem to forget that. Okay. Um, with that pre approval, getting your credit checked. And I know this is a sore topic for some people because they're checking their credit scores online through their banking apps, whoever they have, checking their FICO scores and seeing that it's looking, it's dandy. Everything is going good. It looks really good. They got a 7 or 800 or whatever it is. But the thing is, I've experienced this myself multiple times where we're shopping with the client. They're looking at their online credit score. They don't really want to get their credit pulled by the lender yet. I get it. There's a hesitancy there, but they don't do that. And then finally, when it's time to do it, they actually pull their credit report, and these credit reports are running through TransUnion, Equifax, Experian. Typically, are the top three, and they'll take the middle, basically, of the three, or sometimes even the average of the three, and give you a credit score. And a lot of times on those, there's stuff that comes up from a whole previous life. I mean, I'm telling you, people had stuff come up from years ago, collections that they were not aware of. Maybe they forgot to pay a AT&T bill or a Verizon bill or whatever it is. There's so many different things, and they forgot about it. And maybe it never even showed up, so they weren't even aware. They weren't avoiding it. It just kind of happened, right? And it just kills their credit score. Once it's known, it kills their credit score. And I've experienced this a few times already, more than a few times. So it really is important to pull that credit if you can, do it off the front end. There is a myth out there that if you pull your credit through a lender, that it's going to boom, drop your credit score down, and you might not be ready this month or next month to necessarily buy. But honestly, as a prereq, I would 100% recommend to do it. I do it myself. Even when I'm considering getting an investment property in the next few months or down the road, I want to know now, what can I take care of today that maybe I'm not seeing? What can I clear up? How can I make myself, a premium client in this marketplace, especially with it being so fast paced? I want to stick out above the rest, and I want to make sure that my offer is getting accepted and that everything is solid with my loan, because it's also very disappointing when you've been in the marketplace, you've been shopping, and you're getting tied to maybe a property that you want, an emotional attraction to a property. It just happens. It's part of the process, even with every buyer, even on the third home. You start falling in love with a home, it starts happening. If that loan falls through, that's going to be really upsetting to you and your partner or your family, if that was to happen. So that's just word to the wise. 100% do your homework. It is worth the while. If you need an amazing local lender, or a broker in our area, reach out to me and my team. Our info is always down below. I'd be happy to send that info to you, at least get a few quotes in the marketplace. And these are trusted people that I personally work with on a ton of transactions. So they're tried and true. If it can be done, they can do it. Okay. So that's the second point is, I'm sorry, that is the first point, not getting pre-approved. The second point is this: not setting enough cash to the side. And this is a big one because a lot of the times, especially with first time home buyers, they come to the table thinking, hey, I just need my down payment, or what's my minimal amount of money that I can do for a down payment? Well, the thing is, it's not just the down payment. As you guys know, some of you that have been around or have been shopping, obviously there's still closing costs. And those are costs associated with the lender for your loan, but also some of the different taxes and fees associated with purchasing a home, such as escrow fee, title fee, prorated taxes, insurance. So there's different things that are involved as well that could change that amount drastically. And that's thousands of dollars. Okay, so expect that. And obviously, when you're talking with the lender, they'll probably quote you something for that or give you a range for that. So it's not just your down payment, but there's closing costs. But really, this is where a lot of people are kind of missing it in this market is I would have even more cash to the side, even more buffer. And what is that for? Potential repairs and costs. when we're buying homes in this market, everything is so fast paced, everything is moving, is you want to have a buffer that if something comes back on the home inspection and the pest inspection, and let's say the seller doesn't want to do those items or something is urgent and we might need to do it in the process, having a little bit of cash buffer on the side is really going to go a long way. With this market, sellers, as we'll talk about in the stats here, if you guys hold on with me for a few more minutes, I'll run into them, is that sellers are expecting, if they price it right, to get a few offers. So with those offers, they'd prefer to get in contract with a buyer that's going to ask for the minimal amount of repairs or work. So having that cash to the side where we can handle that ourselves is a big one. But even more than that is if you're moving into a brand new home, maybe you didn't own a home yet, buying furniture, appliances, those things add up to thousands of dollars. So keep that in mind as well. Another thing is this is kind of building off this, but I've talked about this in the past. In this market, especially in the resale market, and when you're not buying a brand new home, we might have what's called an appraisal issue. So, an appraisal, if some of you guys may have not heard, it's a survey done by a professional to basically say, hey, this home is actually valued at what you're willing to pay for it. Now, based on what that appraisal, that value comes in at, is going to determine how much loan amount we can get for your home. So even though you might be willing to pay $550,000 for a home, if that appraiser says it's only worth 530, that's going to be a tough spot in the negotiation. And what I've seen and what's pretty typical in this market is when we're writing an offer to say, we'll pay that difference between the new loan amount, so 530,000, and what we're willing to pay for it, 550,000. We're willing to pay that gap in cash. So that's money added on to your down payment to give the seller 550,000. Now, it's not always that extreme of a gap. I'm just kind of giving you guys a picture, but to pay 5,000, 10,000, it's pretty common. I'm seeing that in the marketplace, or at least writing the offer saying that we will cover that appraisal gap is pretty common. So expect that having a couple $1,000s to the side to give you that negotiation play can go a long way. Now, on that note, I've seen a lot of homes where we write that into the offer. The buyer is willing to do that, is comfortable doing that. But when it comes down to it, the appraisal actually comes in at the value and we end up not having to pay the difference. So we win. I just had actually this amazing experience today. So I'm helping these awesome clients of mine purchase a home that's just been fully remodeled. And as you can tell, a fully remodeled home here in Sac County, it's going to fly. And so we are paying a little bit over the list price. And we were a little bit worried about the appraisal coming in and what the value would come in. Every appraiser is different. Every valuation is different. I saw supporting comps, comparable homes in the neighborhood that would support the price we're willing to pay for it. But it was still in the back of our heads like, hey, or hopefully we don't have to pay this difference. The craziest thing. So my lender, Sean, calls me today and he's like, man, you will never believe our appraisal actually came in back $15,000 over what we were paying for it, or where we were in contract at. So $15,000 more. So now the buyer, I mean, they're feeling amazing because they think, they're walking into basically at least $15,000 in equity based on an appraisal survey. So that's huge. So we're really ecstatic about that one. That still happens in the marketplace. I will be honest, it's a little more rare, but it does happen. So that's really awesome. I'm really happy for them. Those are my first-time home buyers. We'll be closing next week. So things like that do happen. It's not always, dark and gloom and, it's so hard. It's so hard. But things do kind of transpire for the benefit of clients sometimes. So just something to consider. It's not always cash out of pocket, but it would be good to kind of prepare for that. And so that's the number two thing, is not setting enough cash to the side. Now, I want to talk about the final point here as far as the 3 mistakes. This is an important one. A lot of people might not get this, but honestly, consistency. Consistency is key in the marketplace right now. With things being a little bit competitive and, not always getting that first, second house, if it was me, a buyer in the marketplace, and I actually tell all my buyers this, be expectant to pay, or I'm sorry, to write 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 offers and not get the home. Now, you might say, Sam, that sounds a little extreme. If I was me, I would probably give up right away. So would other people, and that's why they're not in the marketplace. But what I will say is that consistency pays off, because right now, even though we are getting more inventory, we are seeing a lot more homes now compared to even just the beginning of this year in January. You guys can see the channel below on the lives. I've talked about inventory and what's going on with the market. But the people that have been consistent, that have been patient, shop for a few months, wrote the offers, they eventually end up getting into the home that they really like and love and are really happy and excited about it. So that is just something. Consistency is really key. Now, like I said, a lot of people might be saying, come on, Sam, are you serious? Consistency? It's true. It's huge. A lot of my clients that have really stuck with it are the ones that get in contract and finally get the home that they really want and need. The ones that kind of are looky-loos, here a little, there a little, honestly, they don't really end up getting anything. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. That's really what it is. I mean, even that's a principle in business and work and whatever you do in family. Consistency is key, right? So I would say number 3 mistake is not being consistent enough and not being committed enough to say, hey, we're gonna try it. We're gonna give it a good go as far as buying the home, and not be too discouraged if the first one doesn't come through. Okay, so I see my friend Wave on here saying, "What's up? What's up to you, Wave? Hope you're doing well, my man." Thank you for joining in on the lives weekly. I really appreciate that. And also, just want to let you guys know, if you guys are on here, drop a comment in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking about what I'm saying, or if you have a question, just let me know. Oh, come on. Thank you, Eugene. Sam, your consistency is amazing. I try. Speaking of consistency, my goal is to go live every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m., bringing you guys facts, stats, and all of the best in Sacramento. So if there's something that you'd like me to review, again, let me know down below and join us every Tuesday at 5:30. The only reason that I wouldn't be going live is if I'm sick or if I'm dying. I'm going to really try to go live and commit to that. Also, we are considering about potentially doing a second live per week. So if there's a time that you guys are thinking would be good and that you would actually join in with me consistently, let me know. I'm thinking Friday evenings about 6 p.m. So if that's a good time, if that works, Friday around 6 p.m., let me know, and we can switch up the times or bring on an extra stream to make sure you guys are getting all the content here in Sacramento. If you guys are liking the stream so far, give me a thumbs up. Really helps the algorithm. Yes, I'll be selfish like that. All right. So I reviewed the 3 points most home buyers are making in this market. First one is not getting pre-approved, regardless of your income. Second one is not having enough cash on the side for different repairs, moving in expenses, things of such sort. And number 3, consistency. Consistency is key. So I wanted, as I promised in the beginning of the live, I wanted to run through a few stats, and I thought these were very interesting. This is actually from a local appraiser. So speaking of appraisals, this is from a local appraiser that has a big blog, and he puts out a lot of stats on our marketplace. So I kind of stay up to date with what's going on right there. I want to pull this up and show you, depending on the homes that have been selling in the last few months, what can you realistically expect to pay under, over, or at the list price? So I want to show you guys this stat. I thought this was very interesting. You guys might find this enjoyable. So I'm going to pull up this chart. So if you guys can see here where that arrow is, it's about the third line down. So this is pointing to September at 35.6%. So what this is saying in that line, it's saying 1 to 5% above the list price. So 35.6% of the homes that are sold, 35% of all the homes that are sold in our local counties here in the greater Sacramento area are expected to sell 1 to 5% over the list price. So 35% of the homes in the general Sacramento area from last month were selling actually 1 to 5% over the list price. What does 5% look like? So if you're selling your home, I should say you're buying a home for $500,000. If you're submitting an offer 5% over, you're submitting that offer at $525,000. Now that might seem a little extreme, $25,000 over the list price on a $500,000 home. Yes, I've seen it time and time again, especially if the home is move-in ready, remodeled, priced I would say fairly or even aggressively, maybe a little bit under what the neighborhood is showing. Those are the homes that are getting multiple offers and eventually end up selling over the list price. So if you're submitting an offer on a really nice home for 500,000, which is estimated to be about the median price in Sacramento County right now, I think it was 508 as of last month, 505, 508 as of last month. So with that being said, if you're submitting on $500,000 home, expect to pay about 525, and that won't necessarily be unordinary because about 35% of the homes are selling for that. I want to jump to this again. So just to take it down a little bit more. So which homes are selling for more than 5%? So that's the line right below. So 18.9% of homes, so about 19% of all the homes that sold last month are selling 5 to 10% over the list price. So on 500,000, that's an extra $50,000 on top. Now that's pretty aggressive to be almost $50,000 over the list price with almost 19% of homes that sold last month. So that's going to show you that the market is still definitely moving fast. Now, that's a good chunk of the homes, 20%. And of course, the first stat at 35%. So that's a good chunk of homes. So that's just to kind of go in line with what I said with consistency. If you're seeing homes go over the list price, which is pretty normal right now, not all of them. We've seen quite a few price reductions. Don't get me wrong. But to see homes go over the list price, you have to mentally prepare yourself for that. And I prepare all my clients for that because I'm not trying to make you make a bad decision or an investment. I'm just trying to prepare you for the reality. Like if you need to buy a home, if your family is itching to get into a new neighborhood, a home, a school district, honestly, yeah, I understand. Fundamentally, it's not always the best, and I try not to push it that way. But I will always tell you, hey, I think the home is valued at this. This is potentially what you're overpaying. Are you okay with that? Are you willing to live with that? Are you willing to still see where the market goes here in the next 1-2 years? This is my personal thoughts. This is a side of what's potentially actually going to happen. I try not to project too much. But if people are comfortable with it, if they see their family there, if they think that, hey, this home, my family's going to love it. We're going to enjoy having dinner here. We're going to enjoy Thanksgiving here in the next few weeks. Sometimes it's really worth it. And I've seen some crazy equity jumps. I've seen people pay $10, $20, $30,000 over the list price, and a year later, they make all that money back and some. Most of the home buyers that I helped buy in the last 2 or 3 years have had $100,000 or more equity gains on their properties. A lot of them have even started to sell their properties tax-free because they've lived there for 2 years and then take that money and shift it into the next bigger home, sometimes move into another city or on the outskirts of town, or some even move out of state. So they have room. Some will even go take that money and buy a secondary, like an investment property. So there's different things you can do here. And now it's just a matter of if it makes financial sense and is it a good decision for you and your family at the end of the day is really what it comes down to. So those are just some stats there that I wanted to show you guys. And someone wrote me, your show is right after family dinner. Yeah, well, I try to make it that way because I have to skip dinner just to keep you guys entertained. So I hope you guys are enjoying it and giving me that like and thumbs up button. Okay. So I also want to show you that same chart, but in a different way. I know some of you guys are visual people here. So you can see that in the middle right there, I should say the homes that sold for 5% over the list price is about 35% of the homes in the marketplace that sold. So I just giving you an idea of how the market's been moving, how things have been changing around here. And you can see that there's still homes that sell under the list price, definitely. If you could see homes that sold for 5% under the list price is about 7.4% of the total sales last month. So that is awesome to see that some homes are still selling under the list price, but the majority, as you can see in the middle, is selling at 0%. So that means selling at the list price, a little bit over, or even more than 10%. Now, once it goes more extreme after 10%, there's definitely a drop off on that graph there, showing you that the market's now going too crazy, but expect to pay a little bit over if the home is moving ready, if it's priced attractively, and if it's a good fit for you. Most likely it's a good fit for somebody else. Let's just put it that way. So I would say that those are my top 3 biggest mistakes I'm seeing in the marketplace that I'm seeing my buyers make. And of course, they're not making them because they're working with me. I hope you guys are enjoying the show so far, and I hope you guys are enjoying the lives. If you guys can, give me a thumbs up, drop a comment below, or share this with a friend that needs to watch this video. It really helps us in our algorithm and our YouTube channel. If there's ever anything that I could cover on the channel that might be interesting to you, or some of you guys are from out of state, out of city watching these, please let me know. I know we have a lot of clients and potential homeowners from the outskirts of town that are watching this. So I really appreciate it, guys. Let me know what's going to be the best content for you guys. I'm really flexible and I'd love to serve you the best way that I can. So, guys, it's been a pleasure. My name is Sam Golovey, and I'm always excited to go live with you. Just a reminder, next Tuesday at 5:30 p.m., we'll be going live again. So make sure that you tune in. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you soon.